Hello again, everyone. Thanks for tuning into our second part of our series on how to use Adobe InDesign's data merge function to improve your board game prototyping process. In this video, we're going to talk about how to put together a print and play using the assets that you exported from part one, and we're also going to talk about good, efficient ways to make iterative changes to your prototypes. So eventually we're going to want to build a print and play that's going to look a bit like this, where we have all of our individual images linked in from our source. So I'm using a bit different of a project folder from the first video. But here we have all the card images that we exported. There are 42 of them in total, and we have these linked into this document. These are all linked to images, so that if these ever actually change, then it's going to automatically update the links in the print and play. So in theory, if once we make that, once we re-export with the data merge, then it'll automatically change this, and we can just go right out the gates. But it takes a little bit of setup to get here. So first off, what we'll do is we're going to create a new document. And you can go ahead and make whatever size that you're going to print on, whether that's 11 by 17 or 8.5 by 11. I usually print 8.5 by 11 either at home or at like Staples or something. So we're going to set up a new document, 8.5 by 11, and you can set your margins to whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever is going to work for the printer. Same with bleed. Generally, you won't need bleed if you're just going to print at home. But I'm pretty happy with this. I would probably work in millimeters, since the last project that we exported 63 by 88 millimeters. So I kind of want to keep close to the units that we already have set up. So that's how you would set up the document. I'm just going to go ahead and close out of this because I already have the document set up. And once you do, it'll give you kind of a blank page. It won't have these snap guides, but it'll just be a blank page with your margins all set up. The first thing you want to do is you want to set these guides up, and you want to get your print and play template ready. So you'll go to the master. The master is a template that applies to every page. Down here, you see these little these letter B's that are on all these. It says B master applied. You can have many different masters, and you can apply those to different pages if you want to. For this one, we just have a single master that's applied to all of them, and the master looks just like this. It's just a series of little slots that we've made where we can easily just click in card images from an outside source. So the way that you set up these little grids is you're going to get the measurements on your card, you can get the measurements in the margin, and you will click this little ruler out here and just drag it onto the screen. Once you have that set up, it's pretty easy to just drag your card in, and once it's in that little space, it's going to kind of snap in with Adobe's little feature there. You'll make your grid however you like, to fit the cards or the components that you're trying to get to a page, and try to, of course, maximize your space. Once that has been applied there, then it's actually going to apply to all of the pages. So you see, even on these pages, those guides are kind of in place. Okay, so here we have a blank page that I've set aside for us, and whenever you export through the data merge, you're going to end up with a bunch of these just regular sized images. And the way that I usually like to do my first page is I'm going to just select 9 of them. I like to bring them over and just kind of click these off to the side over here. Just let them stage for a bit. Okay, I actually lost one of those. It's tiny over there. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but it does. But just for the example for now, I'm just going to drag these one at a time into these little spaces. Easy. And you'll just populate your first print and page, or first print and play page, just like this. You can tell those are just really easy to snap into those guides. Let's get the other two in there as well. All right. So once you have that set up, you'll be able to really easily use those image frames to get the rest of them going. So, for example, if we use this as our master or whatever, we have these are actually image frames. So if we wanted to, for example, click on this little circle in there and delete that, it leaves the frame behind, and that's okay. That's kind of what we want. So, for example, if we wanted to end up bringing these 4 in to a new page, excuse me, if we wanted to bring these images into a new page, then we can actually just click directly onto that, and it will replace that image like so. Right? Pretty easy. You don't have to aim it or anything. You don't have to click in the right way. If you want to bring over multiples at the same time, you just click all these, bring them over, and then you can actually hold down the Alt key and just click them into those one at a time, and it's going to automatically populate that frame with that image. So it's pretty easy to load these up. Once you have a single page, then you can just kind of duplicate it and then go down to this one and just replace on the next page, etc., etc. The good thing about this is that you only have to do this one time. Let me go ahead and delete this real quick, all this extra stuff. You only have to do this one time. Because whenever you go to update your prototype, you re-export and save over these images, and it will automatically update the linked images in the print and play. So let's jump right into that on how to make iterative changes. And once I do that, I'll show you how to export this print and play with the updates. So let's say that we played our game. We decided we needed to make a couple changes. Some of the numbers were a little bit wrong, and we're going to change some of these, right? So we're going to do some of this business. All right, so we changed some of our values, and now we are ready to re-export our CSV. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and re-download this. We're going to overwrite the original. Where is it here? Let's go to desktop. There we are. So we have this. This is the CSV that's already linked into that template form. I'm going to actually overwrite this CSV. So let's do that. Yes, I would like to replace that. So now we're going to go to our original document. It says that we have one modified link. Normally you just click update links, it's no problem, but I'm going to show you just real quick what happens if we don't. If you don't, then this little on your links tab of your little window over here, there you'll see this little exclamation mark. You just double click this. If there's multiple links, then you can just actually go down to this little recycle button and just hold down the Alt key to just update everything. So let's go ahead and update that. And what that does is the data merge. It actually is a linked document that is part of this this project here. So this little file here from the data merge window, Weirdvale forms.csv, whatever, then it is updating that new file there. Okay, so we can actually we have our data merge all set up. You can tell this is a little bit more complicated of a merge than our last one. This has a lot of images and a lot of possible things and a lot of different placements for text boxes depending on what is present on the card and what is not. So let's take a look at what the preview looks like. There we go. We can turn on our overprint view. Once again, with view going to overprint view there, so we get a good idea of what it looks like. And those things that we changed, I know that we changed like the Kieran-Wef to a 9 spirit, so we can look at that. That is record number 10, so it'll actually end up being record number 9, I think, on this. That's him? Yeah, it is. And you can tell that he has that number 9 in that appropriate field under the other spirits. So we certainly updated it, and now we are ready to export these, or go ahead and run the merge. So we'll do our data merge just like normal, all records. We got a report set up. And since this is 42 pages and it's a little bit complicated, it might take more than, it might be a little bit longer than instantaneous to actually run the merge. Alright, no overset text. So we're looking at page. Right now this is all blank and weird still because we're on the master, but we can go down to page 1 and kind of onwards like that. Let's turn on overprint view, and you can tell that each page is its own little record. Cool. So everything looks fine, and we are going to go ahead and export these files just like we did with our first project from the first video. We'll export these, but instead we're looking at overwriting those card images. So we already have all of our card images here in this folder. What we're going to want to do is we're going to select the very first one. Whenever it exports these, it's going to export as the file name you save the first one as, and then it's going to number each subsequent record. So we're just going to overwrite the very first one. We're going to make sure it's the same name, same file type, and let's go ahead and save it. It'll ask us if we want to replace, and we certainly do, because remember, we made iterative changes, right? So we're making sure we're exporting all of these, all of our export settings are right, and we'll export. Now it's going to ask if we want to do the same for number 2. Do we want to overwrite that? Yes, let's apply that to all. Let's overwrite all of these card images. And that'll take just a minute to export all of those. All right, it did it. So let's go check out our card images here, and just to make sure, we'll check in on that Karen Weft to make sure that it's not disappointing us. There we go. It does have that 9 there, so we know that the data merge went through. Just checking in on it. So let's go back over to our print and play. The print and play, where was that? That was over here. So print and play has, instead of those little linky things, it has those little hazard signs. So we're going to go to our links. If that's not open on yours, you can go to Window and then click Links, but no problem. And you'll see that all of our links are now needing to be modified, or that they were modified and they need to be updated. So the best way to do that, once again, is to just select one, hold down Alt, and click this little button down here. That's going to update all of the links in the document to their updated versions. Okay, and now we have a print and play. We have the Karen Weft is now updated in there. It updated everything that we changed automatically, and we don't have to do anything else. If you want to get this ready for print, then you'll need to just export this document as a file. And usually the easiest thing to work with is a PDF. So we'll go to File, Export. We're going to go to the project folder, and we'll do Adobe PDF set up for print. And let's do Forms Print for the 27th of September. I like to date things, keep kind of at least somewhat organized. So we'll save that. Exporting in any PDF is going to give you tons of options. I don't understand most of them. I usually just go with the defaults whenever I'm printing prototypes. But again, if your manufacturer has any specs, then they might be picky about that. So let's export. Exporting this sometimes takes a minute, and there's not really like a display. This can show you when it's done. So we'll go back to the project folder. We'll take a look, and here we have our forms print. It's all set up and it's ready to go. You just bring this to a printer and you're all set. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And in our next video, we'll be talking about some certain advanced techniques and some other interesting things you can do with data merging.